I'm back with another video for y'all, and today I'm going to be doing a story time on my losing my virginity. So that's what we're gonna be doing today. I feel so weird saying that on camera, but okay, so let's just get into the video. So this was back when we had first started the pandemic, so they made everybody go online or whatever. So I was online, and this back when I was online, since we had lunch, we still needed a break even though we wasn't at school for lunch. They gave us an hour break in between. It was either 10 or 11 or 11 and 12. I think it was 11. It was 11 and 12, I believe. But part of me also wants to say it was 10 and 11, but I don't remember. I'm not sure. So before my break, me and my man was on the phone. Me and my man was on the phone, and we was talking. And mind you, we had already been talking for a long time, so we had already, like, of course, sex had already came into our conversations a couple times, because it's like we've been talking for so long and we ain't had sex anyways. But it's like I wasn't really thinking about having sex, and neither was he, because it's like we already been talking for years. And I ain't gonna lie, he waited on me. He waited on me for some years. And some niggas, they be like, you're lame. He lame, he a ham because he waited that long. Y'all niggas just be so thirsty for some, y'all be so thirsty, y'all don't know how to be a man. Like I said, when I say my man, I mean my man. That's my man. Because y'all is little boys. Like, when the story has came up and boys have heard the story before, they be like, he waited that long. Oh, he lame. He a ham. Y'all is lame for even thinking that that's cute. Y'all is lame for even thinking what y'all saying is cute. But next topic. Yeah, so me and my man had already been talking for a long time. And we had already been talking for a long time. And he was waiting on me, and he was telling me, like, he don't care about having sex, he don't care about none of that. He just want me to be happy. He loves me for me, and whenever I'm ready is when I'm ready. And I was glad that I had somebody like that was able to wait on me, and I didn't feel like I was rushed. Because I am gonna tell y'all another story time after this one, after I see where this one goes, like my story time of attempting to lose my virginity, because it was just like so much peer pressure and everything. So y'all also stay tuned for that. But yeah, so he was ready to wait on me. So one day we was on the phone, we was talking, and it was before I was about to go on my break for lunch. So, my bad, guys, my friend texted me. So it was when I was waiting for my break for lunch, and he was all the way in Canton this day. I don't remember why, but he was all the way in Canton. So he was like, I asked him, I'm like, oh, you should come see me on my break. But at the time, this was when my mom was like real strict and stuff like that. And she never let me see him when I wanted to see him. Now I'll be with that man every day. But it's like, this is when she was so strict. And she was so strict, and she never let me see him. She never let me go anywhere with him. I never got to see him. He was barely even allowed to come pick me up from school. So of course, I was being sneaky. I was being sneaky because I felt like I had to be sneaky to see him, because my mom would not let up and let me see him. So, what happened? We was talking one day, and I told him he should come see me on my break. And he like, oh, I'm on the way. I'm on the way in Canton. I'm like, okay. So then we started talking about, like, doing a do. But it wasn't like have a conversation about it. It just came into the topic for a couple seconds, whatever. So he like, oh yeah, I forgot what happened, but since we never got to see each other, we basically planned on having sex when he came to see me for my break. So whatever, move forward. We're talking. He agrees to come see me on my break, but we also agreed that we was gonna have sex. But we was just like, where's we gonna have sex at? So basically, y'all, we agreed to have car sex. We agreed to do in the car. And now I would not recommend it, especially because we two big people. We're so, like, I'm 5'9" or 5'10", and he's 5'10". So it wasn't really, no, it wasn't. Like, I'm not saying it was bad, but I'm saying, no, it wasn't, like, very comfortable. So he agreed to come see me or whatever. So I'm sitting there on my last class, and I'm so nervous because, like I said, me and him never did nothing like this before. So I'm so nervous. So, like, it's like we did stuff, but not had sex. So I'm so nervous. So I'm like, bro, this is, like, I'm really finna do this. Like, no. And then it was like, I feel like I was still really young. Like, I am young now, but I was young. So I was just like, but I wasn't super young. Like, I was at average age. So I'm just like, bro, I'm really finna do this. So my break comes or whatever, and this is when my mom worked from home too. She still does, but my mom worked from home. But I think she had just started working from home, and I don't think she had the job. My mom has always worked at call centers, so I don't think she had the job she has now, because now she works like at a really good job. I'm not telling her my mom works, so don't ask. But before that, she was working at a different call center, and I believe she didn't get off until like 4:30 or something like that. She got off at like 4:30. But by the time my break came, it was either 10 o'clock or it was 11 o'clock. I think it was 11 o'clock. It had to be, because my man wouldn't have got up that early. So, well, he might have. I don't, because he don't wake up that early anyway. So it had to be like 11 o'clock. So after my break, I waited for him to get in my neighborhood, and then I told my mom I was going outside. So I told my mom I'm going outside, and I never forget, I put on this purple Nike jogging suit, and I had on this leopard print scarf, because my hair was blow dried. It kind of looked like this, except it was crazy. Like, it wasn't curly or nothing. It was blow dried, and I was bald headed. I was so bald headed at the time. So I was about to get my hair done anyways. So I just put my hair in a ponytail and put a scarf on. Mind you, I've never had sex before, so I'm thinking I'm gonna come back looking crazy anyway, like he finna rough me up. So I just put my hair in a scarf and I put it in a ponytail. And then I put on my Uggs, and I had on, it was, because it was cold outside at the time. It was October, y'all. It was October. I'll never forget this day. It was October 18th. So it was cold outside. So, what happened? It was cold outside, so I put on my Uggs, and I had on a jogging suit, and that was it. So I walked around the corner where he had parked the car at, and told me I was going outside. And at the time, I had these friends in my neighborhood that I used to mess with, and I used to be friends with, and they also gonna be in my story time about the attempting to, because they was the ones who peer pressured me. So I had these friends, so I told my mom I was going to my friend's house, and I was not. I was going to see my man. So I get to his car or whatever, and I get in the car, and it's like, it's so awkward, but it's like, we still comfortable with each other, because that's my boyfriend. Like, and he's been my boyfriend for a long time now. So we just looking at each other, and we smiling, and we just looking, and we looking, and we looking. And I'm just staring at him. I'm like, hey, babe, give him a kiss, whatever. And we sat there and we talked for like 20 minutes, I want to say. Yeah, we sat there and we talked for like 20 minutes. And then eventually, mind you, my break was only an hour long. So time was going by fast too, because he already got there like after my break had already started, like 10 minutes, 15 minutes after my break had started. We talked for like 20 minutes. I had to be back at my house by 12 so I could log back into my Google Classroom, my class and stuff, and get on my classroom meeting, like my video call. So, and I had to walk back over there because my mom didn't know I was with him, so he couldn't drop me off in front of my house. So, and I had walked like 5 minutes. So, yeah. So we're sitting there talking, and he's like, so like, you trying to get in the back? And I'm like, the back? We too big for that. So he like, let's get in the back seat. I'm like, okay. So we get in the back seat, but we had moved his seats all the way up to where they like pushed all the way up and they're bent all the way forward. We did that for both seats because, like I said, we really tall. So we get in the back and we just sitting there, and I still got my clothes on. Like, of course, I still got my clothes on. So we sitting there in the back, and mind you, he had pulled somewhere where like nobody could see us. Oh, my phone finna die. Okay, so he had pulled somewhere where nobody could see us. So, what was I finna say? So, eventually we're sitting there still, and he knows I'm nervous. So, he's telling me, like, calm down, like, it's okay, calm down. I'm like, okay. He asks me multiple times. He's like, are you sure you want to do this? I'm like, yeah. He like, are you sure? I swear to God, y'all, he asked me like 5 times if I was short in a row. He was like, you know, we don't got to do this if you don't want to. Like, I'm ready whenever you're ready. I'm not rushing you. Like, I love you. I'm not rushing you. Da 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 da. I don't care if you don't want to, like, he's like, I don't care if you don't want to have sex with me. Like, it's okay. And I'm like, I know, babe. I know. Like I said, I feel like I'm ready. So I was just like, come on. Like, so he tells me, like, okay, we'll take these off. And he's telling me to take my jogging pants off. So I take my jogging pants off and my shoes, of course, because I had on boots. So yeah, I didn't have on like slides and I had on boots. So I took my boots off and I had on Uggs. So I set them to the side real nicely because you're not finna step on my shoes, nigga. And I don't even remember. I think I had on, that's how I know my man love me, because I had on some granny panties, I believe. Like I didn't have on no cute like pink panties because did I have a job? I believe I did. I had just started working I think I had just started working at McDonald's for real. But like I had on granny panties and it was like I was the type of person who didn't really buy cute panties anyways. Like I said, I was the type of person I didn't really buy cute panties anyways because I just didn't see because I wasn't having sex then, couldn't nobody see them. And it was like I didn't really think they was cute back then, so I didn't really care for them, so I didn't have none. So I put on I just remembered, y'all, it's 2 story times about how I attempted to have sex. And one of them was with the same person I'm talking about right now. But we didn't do it. So, because he was telling me he feel like I'm not ready and he don't want to rush me and stuff like that. So that was another time. He was telling me he felt like I wasn't ready. And I was just like, he was telling me like, oh yeah, because I just know when we have sex, like it's going to take a big toll on us. A lot of stuff is going to change between us. Like it's going to take a big toll on our relationship. So I just feel like we're not ready yet. Like at the time I felt like I was so ready, but I'm so glad he told me he felt like I wasn't ready because deep down inside I wasn't. But yeah, y'all, so he started telling me to take my stuff off. I took and under my jacket, I believe it had on just a bra. So I took off my jacket and my and his windows was tinted too, so I wasn't really worried. I took off my jacket and I took off my jogging pants, but I was still really nervous, like what if somebody sees us? He's saying nobody gonna see us. I'm like, okay. Mind you, he's never had car sex before and neither have I. I've never had sex, period. So I'm like, what he say? I was like, he was like, so how we about to do this? I'm like, I don't know. He tells me like to lay across the back seat on my back. So I'm like, okay. Mind you, I'm super long, so my head is pressed up against it, like this, like pressed up against the seat like that. I mean, pressed up against the door, and my neck pressed up, and I'm like this, up against the door. And he's super tall too, so he's on top of me. So of course we about to do it how any regular person will do it their first time. So y'all, before this, he asked me like, oh, is you want to like? He asked me if I wanted to like do something else before we know. So I did. So after that, I swear to God, y'all, I almost cried that entire time, but it didn't hurt. After a while, like it didn't hurt, but it hurt. Like I said, it was my first real time. So I was laying there and he's like, he asked me before he does it, he's like, are you ready? I'm like, yeah. He like, are you sure? He like, are you sure you want to do this? I'm like, yeah. And I'm in my head thinking like, girl, when you do this, it's not no going back. It's not no going back. It's not no going back. So I'm like, bro, we really about to do this. Like, so he goes ahead and he put it in. And I swear to God, y'all, I almost screamed. I almost screamed. I was like, ah! This is what everybody get pregnant from? This hurts. So I'm like, oh my God. So I think I put my jacket over my face because I didn't want him looking at me. And if y'all know, this man, he sweats like a pig. Like we could be sitting there and this nigga will start sweating. We could be sitting there like this and staring at each other and talking and he'll start dripping sweat. So he was dripping sweat on me and I was so irritated. But I had my jacket over me and I'm literally behind that jacket about to cry while he's doing his thing and making his noises. And I'm back there like, but then eventually it's starting to like loosen up and I was like, it wasn't hurting that bad no more. It wasn't really hurting. So now we both like enjoying ourselves. But my head is banging against the window behind me. But I'm like, that's fine. It's cool. It's cool. It's cool. So we doing what we do for a good like 15 minutes. No, not even that. Like we keep like, it was a couple rounds, like I said, for about 15 minutes. So we doing what we do, blah blah blah. He stopped, did something, went again. I don't want to be too detailed on here because, like, yeah, but you know, a couple rounds, like I said. And then I looked at the time and I had to go back. And I was about to be late. I had to go back. So I put my stuff on or whatever. And I was quite happy with what I did. So we move his seats back and I get back in the front. Cause like, I'm really big on aftercare and so is he. So it was like, hold on, something's on my face. So it's like, I'm really big on aftercare and so is he. So he wanted to have time to, and that's how he's always been. Like, that's how he's always been. Like, after we do what we do, he wants to still, he makes sure we stop doing what we're doing early enough so he still has time to talk to me. He still has time to comfort me. He still has time to love on me and kiss on me and hug on me. So it's like he wants to make sure that I know that, like, he's not using me no type of way. He cares about me. He like all that. Like, he's always gonna be around. So yeah, we got back in the front seat and we was talking. He asked me like how I feel. And I told him, like, I feel pretty, like, I'm fine. Like, he asked me if I enjoyed it. I told him I did. Asked him the same thing. He told me, like, it was great. Like, he was just telling me, like, he enjoyed it. So I was just like, okay, that's good. So we talked for a little bit. And then I had to leave to go back to my class. To go back to home so I could go to my class. Bro, I came home. I went home or whatever. And the first person I called was my friend. And I called him. I be talking to her now, but not really. But only early at school. I called her and I told her about it. Whatever. Then I called my best friend and told her. That was pretty much it. And I got back on my class. And me and him was texting and stuff like that. He was texting me about it. And all that. But it was just pretty, like, it was pretty, like, it was good. I would say it was good, but it was just like, first time, I would not recommend in a car. I would not. But it was like, I never saw him, so it was nowhere else to go. But, yeah. So, I also want to say, I'm not encouraging anybody to have car sex. I also want to say, I'm not encouraging anybody to have sex, period. Like, one thing I'm glad I did do was wait until I was ready. Because I did go through some really traumatic experiences with, like, when it comes to sex. So I'm really glad I waited with him and stuff like that. So, yeah. But, yeah, guys, that was the end of this video. Definitely going to be coming to y'all with some more story times. Tell me if you guys like this. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Yeah, bye guys.